But we know this winter storm is forecast to produce freezing rain, sleet, snow, and ice, depending on which area of Kentucky you reside in. We ask Kentuckians to be cautious of roadway conditions that will be hazardous. They will be hazardous in some areas. Please stay off the roadways unless necessary. KY Emergency Management reports that black ice and icing on overpasses will occur, causing hazardous driving conditions. If you must travel, please reduce your speed, give yourself extra time, and check road conditions before you leave at goky.ky.gov. Icing is projected with this storm, and it's going to be significant enough to cause down power lines and power outages. If possible, prepare for the need to use alternative sources of heat. But be aware of the dangers of those alternative sources of heat and the danger of carbon monoxide poisoning that comes along with it. Generators, camp stove, or charcoal grills should always be used outdoors, and they need to be at least 20 feet away from your windows. We remember the 2009 ice storm, where we did such a good job of protecting one another, but we lost far too many people to that generator being too close or even being inside, or people not knowing or understanding the dangers of carbon monoxide. Never use a gas stovetop or oven to heat your home. Visit www.cdc.gov/co/guidelines.htm for more information. If you experienced a down power line or power outage, please contact your local utility company. They will be able to provide you with information on the duration of the outage, but stay away from down power lines or broken utility lines. All right, on our vaccination programs. Yesterday, we had to announce that our Kroger vaccination program would need to be rescheduled for this Thursday. So vaccination appointments that are scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, at the Kroger regional vaccine sites are going to be rescheduled to the following Thursday, February 18th. Same day, same time, same location. So let me repeat that. The Kroger locations, which will be closed tomorrow, everyone who had an appointment is going to be rescheduled for next Thursday, 1 week later, at the same time and the same location. We'd ask our media partners to try to get that word out too, because everyone still has a spot. We need to make sure that they know about it, and we want to get them through next Thursday. This is going to help ensure the safety for all of our staff and volunteers in being closed tomorrow, given what the road conditions are going to look like. Like I said yesterday, to all of you who've waited a really long time for the appointment you had scheduled tomorrow, we're sorry. But with everything we're doing to keep everybody alive and healthy during this pandemic, we don't want you harmed out on the roadways, and we don't want those vaccinators and people working at the facilities who work so hard, who we need throughout the course of the months that it's going to take to get everybody vaccinated. We can't have them hurt. So each of you has an appointment next Thursday at the same time and at the same location. So over the coming weeks and afterwards, wear your mask and be careful until you get vaccinated, until we ultimately reach that herd immunity. So again, due to inclement weather, we will be canceling this Thursday's appointment at all Kroger Health vaccine sites, and they will be rescheduled from 1 week from the date and exact time at the exact location. Those sites are at the Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington, the Northern Kentucky Convention Center in Covington, and the Greenwood Mall in Bowling Green. Other vaccination sites around the state may reschedule appointments if needed. If you have an appointment scheduled for this afternoon, Thursday, or even Friday, keep a close eye on your email and your voicemail so you can get important notifications. We are planning on all of our various sites to be open on Friday. Again, we'll have to see what weather is like in any given area, but our goal, and it's one of the things our Transportation Cabinet Secretary is going to talk about, is to clear those roads so on Friday you can get to that appointment that you have scheduled to be vaccinated. On roads and road conditions, and for state employees, we know that road conditions are starting to worsen, and rush hour today is expected to be dangerous. So I am closing all state offices beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time today, Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. Employees able to telecommute and essential employees designated for mandatory operations should continue to report to work as directed by agency management. Employees should direct questions regarding this closure to their management or human resources department. I want to thank you for all you do for the Commonwealth. And to all of our other employers out there, as Director Dossett will talk about, rush hour this afternoon and tomorrow morning look especially bad. We would suggest that you look at letting people out early so that they can get home safely, and then in the very least delay coming in tomorrow, if not provide a virtual option for them to work if they can. We have worked too hard to get through COVID, and we've made too many sacrifices for us to lose anybody on the roads this afternoon or tomorrow morning. We've gotten really good at taking care of each other. Let's make sure that that's not just reserved for the pandemic, that we do that during this storm and other emergency situations as well. Next, Director Dossett will provide a weather and emergency management update, and then we will hear from Secretary Gray on road conditions and any other vaccine updates. Director Dossett.
Thank you, Governor. As the Governor indicated, we opened the state EOC this morning, and we're staffed with key essential ESFs. We have Kentucky State Police there, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, our power officials, and some of our state utility officials. We basically bring in a small unified command based on the threat that presents during each disaster situation. So this obviously is a major storm front that is approaching us. We will staff the EOC continuously through the end of the event, which is predicted to be late Thursday evening. So if I could get the first slide, James. And I'd like to first thank our National Weather Service affiliates. John Gordon leads our state oversight for the National Weather Service out of the Louisville office, along with our Paducah, our Louisville, Jackson, and Ohio offices. They all come together to keep us safe and provide the oversight that we work from. All of our EM directors receive these briefings. They do a remarkable job. So thanks for the advance warning and certainly the projections. So the heaviest precipitation will occur from 5 p.m. today through 3 a.m. On Thursday. The roadways are going to be extraordinarily dangerous. Secretary Gray will talk a little bit about the things that our Transportation Cabinet does to keep our interstates open. I can reflect back on past years when we had issues on I-24, I-75, I-65. So they occur very quickly, and they have the propensity to strand large numbers of motorists. That's what we're trying to prevent here. So pending the largest accumulation, and we're looking at periods of ice, sleet, snow, and even rain. In the western part of our state, the front came in a little bit late, so it'll move out of our area a little later on Friday morning. That being said, the greatest impact will be in central and southern Kentucky, and it'll be centered along the Bluegrass Parkway and the West Kentucky Parkway. So this highlights the cities of Litchfield, E-Town, Bardstown, Danville, and Richmond, basically along that swath, and you're going to see significant icing. We're fortunate in some ways. The forecast has decreased just a bit in total accumulation, but it's scripted to be 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. I can tell you that the weight of ice on a power line or a tree branch at 1/4 inch, coupled with snowfall that is in this system, can be very dangerous in terms of causing power outages and dangerous conditions. So the event should end late afternoon on Thursday in the west, basically from I-75, and in the east overnight at daybreak east of I-75. The greatest Hazards will be very dangerous driving and scattered power outages. The concern is that a lot of our communities will wake up and they'll have sporadic outages on Thursday morning. So please be aware of that. The temps on Friday are a bit of an improvement. We'll start out with highs in the around 25 in the north and 35 and up in the south. Snow showers expected for Saturday and Sunday. And then, as John indicated earlier in a briefing, we're expecting yet another system on Monday and Tuesday. So in closing, the messaging is simply this. We're asking all non-essential travel be postponed due to the hazardous driving conditions. Kentucky State Police and our Kentucky Transportation Cabinet partners will be out in force, as in all severe weather events. You'll see a lot of emergency crews out there. Please give way. If you don't have to travel, stay home. This is an excellent time to review your family safety plan. In this particular instance, it's focused on a power outage. Take this opportunity to check on extended family and your neighbors. This is something that impacts us all, and together we'll certainly get through with this. Thank you, Governor.
Director Dossett, you and the governor, both of you gave comments that some of which I will just reinforce. An event like this always means preparation. Actually, ahead of the snow event, the ice, transportation crews have been monitoring the weather conditions, preparing equipment, restocking supplies. Calcium chloride, salt brine mixed with calcium chloride, and paying particular attention to areas that are prone to freezing, like bridges and overpasses. I'm going to ask James to show a video in just a minute of some of the work that actually goes on. Oh, it's on right now. So this is illustrating the salt efforts, the trucks. We have actually almost 2,000 transportation employees committed to the snow and ice control effort, and more than 1,000, in fact, 1,024 pieces of equipment. That includes snow plows, of course, for these events, and the trucks that are carrying the salt and the calcium chloride. And in addition to this, in addition to our own forces, there are 400 contractor plow operators that we can call on. They are all doing an extraordinary job under really difficult conditions, but they're prepared for this. This is what they prepare for. And I will say, I want to give a shout out, Governor, to some of these crews that have experienced in the maintenance facilities, they've experienced outbreaks of COVID. And through this whole time, and preparing for this, they've done an extraordinary job. Western Kentucky got the first weather moving into the state. Freezing rain quickly deteriorated the traction on roadways. Slick driving conditions caused multiple crashes, some fatal, and vehicles, including a salt truck, sliding into a ditch. As Director Dossett said, this is a dynamic event. Road and weather conditions will be different within some counties in the same region, and it will be a prolonged event. Won't get through it overnight. Even if there's no precipitation falling, the continuous below freezing temperatures will make road conditions hazardous. And this is something to remember, when we're dealing with extremely low temperatures, more salt is not the answer. It's not effective. And that's why we really need Kentuckians. As the governor said, as Director Dossett said, we need Kentuckians to be good neighbors, good Samaritans, and avoid in this case, avoid driving when you don't have to. The greatest impact is the swath central Kentucky, west to east. And as I said before, our crews are putting forth amazing effort, but we're asking folks to do their part. Better to be stranded at home instead of out on a roadway. And if you have to be out, please be sure to reduce your speed. Give our crews space. Have an emergency kit in the vehicle should you be stranded, and don't drive in the shoulders. As conditions worsen, the focus is on keeping high priority state routes such as interstates and parkways passable. Crews will then concentrate on heavily traveled state routes before turning to lower volume routes. Now, importantly, as already been said, but got to punctuate it, Kentuckians should expect delays in road clearing efforts, and please be patient. Crews are involved in more than clearing roads of snow and ice, but they are also involved in cleanup efforts where there are downed trees, for example, or power lines. And these types of interruptions can further delay our ability to respond to the weather impacts on the roads. Please pay attention also to weather advisories over the next few days. Rush hour impacts should be expected today for Louisville and for areas, of course, in central Kentucky and our more heavily trafficked regions. Visit snowky.ky.gov for snow and ice resources like priority route maps and links to goky.ky.gov to check road conditions. Governor.
Mike, can you grab the reporter list there? Before we move to questions, folks, let's just admit that we can do this. We're used to being stranded at home. We've had about a year where we've had to operate out of home. We know that we can work virtually. We know we can still get done the things that we need to do. And we have worked so hard to protect one another that we just need to make sure that we're all safe during this. I'd like to say I joked, but it was entirely true with the secretary that we've dealt with burning bridges and now freezing roads. And our goal through all of it is just like that accident that happened on the Brent Spence, that everybody makes it out okay. And that's what we want to see at the end of this. So again, be really careful. Rush hour this afternoon, rush hour tomorrow morning, both going to be very, very difficult. All right, so I had my my reporter list. I think somebody else may have picked it up because I had it down here. I think maybe Director Dossett has it. I think it starts, though, with Jack Bramer from the Herald Leader.
Thank you, Governor. Any effort or plans to call the Guard or to put them on alert?
Yeah, the Guard is already on standby, as occurs when we start the Emergency Operations Center. They are ready to be called on if necessary. If we do this right, we won't have to. Certainly, we don't anticipate anything like the 2009 ice storm, but the National Guard is good at this too. They've been there, they've done this, and they're ready to go at a moment's notice when we need them. Darby Bean from WDRB.
Hi, Governor. This question may be best suited for Director Dossett, but I was wondering, how does this ice storm compare to others that we've seen before? I know you've talked about the 2009 storm and that this won't be like that, but what is something that people can compare this to, either to ease their fears or to remind them that they need to take this serious?
Director Dossett.
Thank you. And the question was comparison of this storm to something like the ice storm. I can tell you that The ice storm in 2009 set the benchmark for the state of Kentucky. The disaster recovery and the amount of damage inflicted by that storm was historic. This will be on the average of something that we face not routinely, but we have had a number of events of icing in the past years. Most often it ranges to 1/10 of an inch. That's easily accommodated on our power lines, certainly, and most of our tree and our foliage that are near power lines. It becomes dangerous with the weight of the ice and then the impact of snow. I think we can get through this one with only sporadic outages, hopefully. The power companies have done an exceptional job of trimming around major power lines. The comparison is some of the major snowstorms that we've had. I can cite the 2015 storm. There was a storm in 2017. Those had some level of icing, as all large storms do, depending on the timing and the atmospheric conditions. In this particular event, as the Weather Service has explained it a number of times on their calls, this involves atmospheric conditions where precipitation comes from a very high level and it goes through levels as it falls to the ground. It can come in ice, rain, snow, and impact us in those particular circumstances with worsening effects. I don't think this one will be problematic if we stay off of the roadways. Our power companies are alerted. Their leads are in the state EOC, and I see us getting through this one with a unified command and attention from our communities. Thank you.
Billy Coben from the Courier-Journal.
Thank you, Governor. I think this is probably, of course, on the minds of many, but with the vaccine sites closing, I guess, are there any concerns that some doses now may be kind of put at risk if they're not going into arms as quickly due to these closures? Thank you.
So go ahead. Sorry. Oh, well, thank you for the question. Every single provider has plans and backup plans to make sure that we don't lose a single dose. Given that we made the cancellation early, they are fine in the storage that they are currently in. Our bigger concern would be if any of the providers lost power. And for that, we have either for each provider, we have a generator that is on site that's ready to go on, or they have a partner who they can immediately pack it up and provide it to. And so we've been working that since the very beginning, just like we've been working security with concerns there. So there are good plans in place that have been in place for a while that should make sure that no doses and no vials are wasted. And again, it's the bigger concern there, but one we've planned for is the loss of power that would affect that deep refrigeration unit, especially for the Pfizer vaccine. But we're ready for it. Let's see, we've got, I think, one more. Kristen Goodwillie from WHAS. Kristen?
Hi, Governor. I was wondering, as far as in 2009, the downed utility lines really were what impacted people a lot for a very long time. For people who are preparing, we know that that could be a possibility. What are you guys doing to prepare for that, to get the power back up, and for possibly how long they should be ready to stay still?
So every family should have that emergency plan in place. That ranges from everything from the need to be able to heat their home but do it safely to having the food that they would need. But we don't expect for power outages to be anywhere near the magnitude of 2009. We hope that they will be sporadic. We hope that people won't lose power even for a day or certainly more than that. Again, we've all learned a lot since 2009. I remember in 2009 sitting in a house without power, listening to trees crack, fall, and then hit people's homes. I remember power lines falling in the neighborhood that I lived in. But the difference in how those trees are being trimmed today and what's been put in place, and also being on alert. Everything we're doing right now is preparation and making sure the public knows about when it's going to be most dangerous. We're also communicating with those utility companies to be ready. So we don't anticipate people being without power for an extended time. Obviously, we always need to be prepared for that. But as long as folks are careful, we think that the bigger risk to an individual right now is getting on the roads when they shouldn't, thinking they have to, but they really don't have to, and ultimately ending up in that accident. I want to close by thanking everybody in emergency management that is working so hard on this, everybody in the transportation cabinet that is out there in the worst of conditions, trying to make them better for us. So we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together too. With what we've been dealing with the last 11 months, so much of this is already in place. But folks, be careful. Be careful. We didn't fight 11 months through a pandemic to lose you on the roadway. So be prepared. The next couple days, let's hunker down, but let's make sure everybody around us is safe. Again, all the vaccine sites are open on Friday. Everybody who was scheduled for one of the Kroger sites this Thursday is going to have their appointment moved to next Thursday at the exact same time, at the exact same place. Let's make sure not to miss one appointment. Thank everybody very much, and we'll have more updates if they're necessary.